The Mid-Market Institute, the hub for mid-size companies, suppliers, and advisors worldwide.
Welcome. I'm Ram V. Iyer, founder and president of the Mid-Market Institute. We are here in Chicago today. I'm delighted to be with Michael Werner, who is a long-time entrepreneur, long-time mid-market CEO who joined a family business, as he calls it, the dangerous third generation, and then went on to sell the business off to InvestCorp, and then went on to join Global Union, and you're now the head of the North American business for Global Union. You know how to start mid-market, start companies, but also turn around mid-market companies. Some of the work you've done has been documented as a case study by Kellogg. You got an award for being the Turnaround Management Association's, Turnaround of the Year, if you will. So, Michael, welcome.
Good, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Where do you see the economy going from the perspective of the CEO of a large mid-market company?
I see it, and it's a little bit of a compound answer. Long term, I'm very bullish.
Yeah.
Short term, for us, I'm very bullish, but I also am very worried about our country and our economy overall. I worry about our healthcare crisis. I worry about the energy crisis. I worry about the environmental issues we're facing. Obviously, our national debt on a government level and on a private level are huge challenges to our country. So those are my long-term worries. Mm-hmm. But I'm also an optimist, and yes. I believe if any country can solve the problems, yep. If we behave rationally and appropriately, and we need to push a lot of the politicians out and probably get mid-market business people who are very good at doing things in, yeah. Which would be great if we could have more business people and fewer lawyers in the government, then I think we can solve the problems. And we're actually very excited. Our company is well positioned for this environment. If we look at America now, we've got over 300 million people. We've got a growing population. We have lots of changes, long-term trends that will happen that will be very good for kitchen and bath products, which is primarily what we make. So we're very optimistic about that. Mm-hmm. There'll always be bumps in the road and there'll always be challenges, but we really see an opportunity for us to continue to gain share, for us to come out with new products. We see technology impacting our business. We see logistics and supply chain opportunities. So I'm very bullish on it. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit of a yes and no answer to the question, but long term I'm optimistic, but we certainly have plenty of challenges. I also look around the world, and we do a lot of business in the UK and Europe, and we see a lot of opportunities for us there. We've got very small share, particularly in continental Europe, and we see that as a great growth opportunity. And our single biggest market right now in terms of opportunity is China. We're really just developing our business in China. And for us, we've manufactured in China for over 20 years. We've been selling product in China seriously for about 10 or 15 years. It was always subservient to our North American market because North America was the biggest market. We now are applying more resources to the country of China and plan on growing our Chinese business, which we might do through joint venture and through acquisition, along with growing our own sales capability there. So we'll see how it goes. We're very open-minded to different opportunities.
As you know, we've kind of looked at the small market, the mid-market, and the large market. Large market companies don't have a whole lot more to grow because their base is already large. What we found is that mid-market companies are really the job growth engine for America. Because for every job that mid-market companies have a smaller size and therefore have more to grow.
That's right.
So they create a lot of jobs in-house. Secondly, for every job that's created within a mid-market company, the supplier effect in their supply chain is much greater. Cascade effect is much greater than for a larger company or a small company. Small company, you and I start a company and we're going to think 25 times before hiring anybody.
That's right.
So the mid-market company is the growth engine. So in this new normal, I don't know if I told you, I'm writing a book on this about how mid-market companies can thrive in this new normal. What would be some parting advice based upon your experience that you would give a mid-market CEO, how they should approach this new economy, how they get through this in order to prepare their company for this new normal that we're going into?
That's a wonderful question. I would start with our mantra, which every year we try to have a mantra or a slogan for our company. And for the last couple of years, it's been a depression is a terrible thing to waste. Our industry, home building, new construction, is in a depression. I don't know what's worse than a depression, but when you're down 50%, that is clearly a depression.
Yeah.
We look at that as opportunity.
Yeah.
And we've said to ourselves, how do we restructure our business so that we're stronger 2-3 years from now than we are today? And it was interesting, I was in China last year and I went on a tour of the Qingdao beer factory, and they, in 1978, were 90% of the exports from the country of China, which was amazing because that's pretty much all China exported then was Qingdao beer. And they went through a tremendous growth phase and they got themselves in trouble and they changed their strategy and they came up with a new slogan which was strength first, then growth. So as we look at this new normal, the two things I would say is, number one, a depression's a terrible thing to waste, and number two, strength first, then growth. So what we've been doing is we have been internally going through our business and saying, when the market comes back, which it will, if we look at housing in North America, it's currently running at plus or minus 600,000 units. Normal is somewhere between 1.2 million and 1.4 million. So it's going to double sometime down the road. Will it happen in 2010, 2011, 2012? Maybe not. It may even be 2013. But it's going to be a big market when it comes back. So how do we make our company stronger and more capable of taking advantage of that situation? And we've been fortunate because we've not stopped investing. We've been hiring new salespeople. We've been hiring new marketing people. We've been making major product development investments, creating whole new business units because we believe a depression's a terrible thing to waste. We see so many of our competitors pulling back. We've seen many of our competitors just literally cut out a whole segment of their field sales organization, or cut out their product development, or just cut back on so many things that are core to a good business. So we've said, that's opportunity. How do we go and how do we grow? Looking at just Gerber, the company that we turned around, Gerber's market share is higher now than it's ever been. They've picked up a significant amount of market share in the last couple of years. Market's down 40%. Gerber's revenues are significantly higher than they've ever been, which is because we haven't been afraid to invest. So my key to any mid-market CEO that I'd say is your job is to be the strategist. Your job is to take in lots of information from the outside, to think it through rationally, to have good processes, and then not to be afraid to go out there and lead your company forward. And if you're afraid to lead your company forward, then maybe you're not the right person to lead it, because you're in business to do business. You're in business to be a steward of that company, to turn it over to somebody after you in a better shape than how you found it. And that's really my advice to them is leaders lead. Don't be afraid to lead. Get the best help you can get, whether it's consultants, whether it's reading books, whether it's traveling, whether it's meeting with other CEOs in a YPO or WPO type organization. Be just a sponge and bring in as much information as you can. Debate with your people, but do it in a healthy environment. Don't be a typical CEO where it's your way or the highway. Let your people see you as a human being first. Do things to humanize you, make you all on the same team. You can be the leader of that team, you're the captain of that team, but listen to your teammates, respect them, fight like hell, but then look at your watch and say it's time for lunch and go out and enjoy your teammates. And don't be afraid of the world. The world is great fun. Go out, and whether it's right to go to Nebraska or it's right to go to Nepal or to India or to China or Brazil or wherever it is for you, don't be afraid of going out in the world. Have fun, be creative, be entrepreneurial, and drive it forward.
Michael, thank you so much for your practical insights into dealing with the current economy, about how to manage a mid-market company, how to grow a mid-market company, how to deal with globalization. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Thank you. I'm Ram V. Iyer, founder and president of the Mid-Market Institute. We've been with Michael Werner, who is the head of the U.S. operations for Globe Union, a very large bathroom fittings and hardware company. Michael used to be with Warner Ladders, which bears his family's name. He was the third generation leader, and now he's grown Globe Union into a $800 million plus company. Michael, thank you very much for joining us again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.